Meep, meep! Out of the way, bitches! Got Bears fans here wanting to celebrate mediocrity. Get out of the way, bitches! 2-2 and it feels so good to them, baby! All aboard! Bears fans, final stop at the overreaction station. You know it's coming. Oh my God, Justin Fields looked respectable today. The defense didn't even give up 20 points today. The Bears won at home against a divisional opponent. They're 2-2, baby! Building up some momentum, baby! Right before they go into the heart of the tough part of their stretch of schedule this year, baby! Bears football! I know what you're thinking. Jeff. Well, this is not Jeff. Oh no, we gotta go Slate Daddy mode on this one, dude. Like, yeah. It's gonna call for this. There's a lot to say about this game today. And yes, at the end of the day, the Bears won. No, I don't think that's the best thing for the organization. Clearly. If any of you actually put money on the Detroit Lions to win today, do not lay that at this guy's lap here, okay? You made a conscientious decision to put your own real money on the freaking Detroit Lions. The Lions! You know Lions gonna Lions? Dan Kneecap Campbell Lions? Jared Goff the Goof Lions? What the hell did you expect was gonna happen, I suppose? But you can see it now. It's coming. It's coming. Well, the defense looked good today. Oh, Justin Fields looked great today. My God, it's... Let's pump the brakes. Pump them just a little bit here. And let's not overreact too much. Because the reality is, the absolute reality is that even though the Chicago Bears won today, something magnificent happened anyways. It truly shined a light on just how much of a fuckstick Matt Nagy is. Like, this is the conversation exactly how the hell it should go down at Hallis Hall on Monday. With Bean Counting Ted and Goofy George McCaskey. Bean Counting Ted pulls Matt Nagy into the conference room at Hallis Hall and is like, well, you know, Salami, I was looking at the numbers, prosciutto, and I was trying to figure out here, what is it that we're paying you for? Baloney! What are we paying you for? Baloney! And then Goofy George, oh, yuck. What I think Mr. Nagy, Bean Counting Ted's getting at here is, what exactly, yuck, is it that you do here? Gosh. Because it sure looks like you're supposed to be this offensive genius, but when the play calling goes to Bill Lazor, yuck, the offense looks a lot better. Gosh. Like, it literally feels like Bean Counting Ted and Goofy George should be the two Bobs here, sitting Matt Nagy down at Hallis Hall Monday and asking him, what exactly is it that you do? What is it that he does? Because this offense that you saw today was night and day different in terms of anything that you would see from Matt Nagy as a play caller. Like on that first drive, it was beautiful, it was majestic. They're running the ball with David Montgomery. There's a big play down the field to Mooney from Justin Fields. It's like, holy shit, this is what a legit NFL offense is supposed to look like. This is how you help a young quarterback develop. This is how you help a young quarterback grow. Not by sitting them and watching Nick Foles play like certain dumb dicks like Louis Riddick will suggest. I can't believe any Bears fans will sit there and say, this guy wants to be the next general manager. Are you fucking insane? The hell's wrong with you? Well, of course, you're the same fans that probably sit there and think that this victory represents some awesome thing today. And the reality is it doesn't. This was an 0-3 Lions team coming in. Goff is a goof. Like, as soon as he gets off balance at all in terms of his footwork, it's a wrap. His arm is below average. Mobility, even less below average. They don't really have weapons to speak of in the passing game on the outside. Their defense, improved from last year, is still not very good. And it damn near could have been a much different game than what it ultimately ended up being. But you look at this Bears team offensively today. Offensively. Like it should be like you walk through the shining light and you say, Justin Fields, 11 for 17. Probably the one notable mistake that you have is the interception where he just locked on to the slant too long. Right? So one thing if that's where you're going, but try to look away from it. You're giving the defender too much time to be able to key in on you. Like, that's a young mistake. That's a rookie mistake. That's the type of mistake that a guy's going to make. But you can see the dynamic here of this offense with Justin Fields. What was it, 5 completions and 20-plus yards today? Like, there were actual big plays in the passing game. Being able to unleash a Darnell Mooney down the field. Being able to hit on some of these big-time plays. You can't do that with Andy Dalton. Meanwhile, Matt Nagy's the same fucking dumb dick that if he would have had his druthers and Dalton would have been healthy today, he absolutely would have started them. And we all good and well freaking know he would have gotten a red rocket raging boner and started Andy Dalton instead of Justin Fields. And what the hell would you have accomplished? At best, at absolute best from Andy Dalton, you'd have a similar type of result of what you had today any fucking ways. But the play calling was clearly in Bill Lazor's hands today, and it showed. Like, this is the type of performance where you should be looking at it and saying, it's time to level up Lazor for the sake of Justin Fields and to find out what Lazor is. And fire Matt Nagy into the fucking depths of Lake Michigan. Goodbye, go, forever, don't ever fucking come back. Because then you look at this and you say, when's Matt Nagy eventually going to stick his little greasy, grimy, grubby grips into Justin Fields to screw this whole thing up and this whole offense up? Now, granted, there is an important piece of context here that Bears fans need to keep in mind. This came against the Detroit Lions, and they suck. Okay? They suck. So don't get too fucking carried away. I am very happy to see Justin Fields play well today. I'm very happy for him that he got his first win. I'm very happy for him that he got somebody that actually has some type of competence when it comes to being an offensive play caller and game planner in Bill Lazor helping him out today. Like, again, the difference was clear and obvious. But let's not be counting our chickens too much before they hatch here. Let's not overreact and think that this is the start of some big run for the Bears. Like, you're still cheering ultimately for mediocrity at best. That schedule the next several weeks sucks. Like, it's going to be a really, really tough road to hoe. And meanwhile, you look at this, and the defense was not good today. Some of you get mad at me because I shit on this Desai defense for good reason. The number of points given up does not tell the whole story by any stretch of the imagination. The reality is, this entire feeling of today that some of you have would be vastly different if the Bears were facing an even halfway competent team, let alone a really good team here. You had multiple instances where the Lions got into the Bears' red zone, and either you're talking about the nut fumble, and you're fucking talking about this and that, like, going for it on 4th down, not getting it multiple times. Where maybe if you kick a field goal, like the whole dynamic of the game in the 4th quarter is different. Especially late in the game when you're down 10. I understand it's 4th and short. You know, Goff the Goof, of course, misses Cephas wide open over the middle. But then when he throws to St. Brown on the outside, he misses him by like 3 yards because that's what Goff the Goof does. You know, the reality is an even halfway average team beats this Bears team today. That's how shitty this Bears team is. And that's even with the offense having to carry the day. Like, how weird does that feel? Robert Quinn might be the best Bears defensive player this year. I never thought I would fucking say that. Travis Gibson came out with a few highlights of the day, some splash plays. Of course, this is the same Travis Gibson that a few weeks ago Matt Nagy made a healthy scratch, which again should make you sit there and wonder, especially if you're goofy George McCaskey, oh, yuck, what exactly is it that you do here, Matt? Gosh. Like, you can point to this ass clown and say everything that he touches is fucked up. Everything that Matt Nagy does from a decision-making standpoint is stupid and bad and dumb. And let's not take the pressure off of Desai and this defense today. They couldn't cover the Lions' mediocre-ass, shitty-ass receiving core all day. Guys were open all over the place. Just because Goff the Goof couldn't hit him on some of these throws, like, they were open all fucking day. And if you have a smarter team who better weighs the risk rewards and makes sure they get a couple of field goals on the board, again, you're talking about a one-score game that the Lions may have won. But a better team, an even slightly better team than the badass Detroit Lions, who now, by the way, are 0-4, would have won and may have won comfortably against this Bears team today. Yes, it's a nice feeling to see a somewhat competent offense in Chicago, but you've got to look at the opponent that they faced. It was a crappy Lions defense. Then you got to look at this and you say, oh, that defense that they've invested a shit ton in consistently allowed the Lions to move the ball down the field on them all day. The safeties in particular blowing coverages in zone. Oh, wait, isn't that what Desai used to coach last year before he got leveled up and even did a skip level to go from safeties coach to fucking defensive coordinator? Gee, I wonder why that's not working out so well. It'll get exposed. It always gets exposed. Best believe. Best believe. Just like Dan Campbell got exposed today. Like you should have cut off your own kneecaps. Now, unfortunately, that might not hit as funny as it's intended to, especially when you look at the second half injury that was suffered by David Montgomery. At the time of my recording, this is a little bit after the game. I don't know what happened in terms of, like, is this a serious knee injury? Is this just something he was able to shake it off? Like, does he use that Monty Man muscle and he's going to be able to play next week or 2 weeks from now? Who knows? I would certainly love to think so, because there's no question beyond a shadow of a doubt that David Montgomery has been the best Bears player this season today, and by a good margin. Like Pro Bowl level stuff, like playing like a beast. Like people look at the defense and they'll look at the guys like the Max of the worlds and the Akeem Hicks of the worlds and the All-Pro Quan Smiths of the world. Fuck them all. David Montgomery is the best player on this Bears team this year, period. There is no debate or argument. We've all seen this through the first 4 games. Like, he made this offense go today. And if he is out for any significant time, it's a bad, rough spot for a Justin Fields as a young quarterback to be in. But all of this is for naught. Because we all know deep down inside that Matt Nagy is trying to excuse and justify how he is going to throw the Bears PR group under the bus, so that way they have to announce the decision next week when they go to Las Vegas to play the Raiders that Andy Dalton is going to be the starting quarterback. Like, we're all waiting for this to happen. Now, who knows if it will happen, but if Matt Nagy has his druthers, it absolutely will happen, and that's when he should be fired. He should already be fired. This game today exposed just how bad and incompetent he is as a head coach. Leader of men, my ass. Multiple dumbass penalties. You can talk about ticky-tack or this and that. The reality is it's ticky-tack and stupid in the NFL across the board for all these players and all these teams. Stop getting these dumbass offsides penalties. Stop getting these dumbass personal foul penalties. Like, you have to know how to avoid those. Like, in a critical drive, you have 2 offside penalties. Like, what the hell is going on here? I'll blame Desai for that, blame the players for that, but that also comes on Nagy, too, because it's a consistent theme and problem for this team is no fucking discipline. At least, if nothing else, the one positive, well, 2. That's not even 2. Because everybody should know by now that Matt Nagy's a moron. He's a numbskull, and he should be fired. I think most everybody, as of rational sound body and mind, would agree with that. But Justin Fields got the taste of last week out of his mouth. It is very helpful when you don't have to go up against Myles Garrett and such from the Cleveland Browns, and you get to go against the Detroit Lions. That helps you quite a bit. When you're facing that defense, you can feel a lot more comfortable. You can feel a lot more confident. You can be like, man, this is like facing a Michigan or a Michigan State, isn't it? Just saying. But while the Lions ultimately didn't get the job done, and they showed why they're goofs, especially Jared Goff and Dan Campbell too, for some of them dumb dick decisions during the day, the reality is Bears fans should not feel that good about this overall. They should feel happy about seeing more out of Justin Fields today, but no, that could be temporary because Nagy the numbskull can't wait to put Andy Dalton back in. You know this is true. Furthermore, again, you've got to look at this defense and you say, as much as they invested in this unit, that unit is not playing up to snuff by any stretch of the imagination. That's even with Robert Quinn being their best defensive player this year. Who the hell thought that we ever say that? That's crazy talk. And yet it's true, and yet this defense is mid at best. And once they start facing these better teams in the weeks to come, they're going to get fucking exposed. Level up Bill Lazor and do it now. Because the only thing that matters about this season is Justin Fields. And it is clear, after seeing what we saw today, just how much of a difference Bill Lazor makes, even if it's against the Lions. It doesn't matter. You could see the strategy. You could see the game plan. You could see the fact that there actually was a game plan. You could actually see that there was some type of strategy in terms of how you were going to deploy your young quarterback. Hey, we're going to limit some of his opportunities. We're not going to put too much of the game in his hands. But when he does, we're going to allow him to utilize some of his athleticism so that way he can put a defender on spin cycle. Oh, we're going to sit there and let him actually throw the ball deep. And fucking dog, good things will happen when you do that. Bill Lazor needs to be leveled up now, and Matt Nagy needs to be fired, sunk into Lake Michigan to never return now. This game, as much as any game over the past 3 years, exposed just how bad Matt Nagy is. And I'm saying this after a W, where the young quarterback looked great and the offense was the reason they won today. Oh yeah. Fire Matt Nagy. Do it now.